I'm now going to show you how to do a simple green leaf, and this is a shiny leaf rather than a matte leaf. And what you do with shiny leaves is you always put a very thin coat of cobalt blue underneath, and the way that you do that is just putting it on wet on dry. In other words, wet paint on dry paper. You're not wetting it first. Make sure that this is a very, very pale wash. If you put it on too strong, it looks like a blue leaf rather than it just looking like the shine. We're looking at something like a camellia leaf. The reason you put blue on is because it's a reflection of the sky and it just makes it look shinier. So that's how you would put your undercoat on, wet on dry, nice and thin and not too dark. If you're finding it too dark, swish some back and get rid of it. Okay, you've got to let that then dry, absolutely bone dry, because if you don't, when you put your next coat on, that undercoat will lift into the top coat and you will end up with, once again, with liquid manure. So this is one I did earlier and the undercoat is completely dry. So what I'm going to do now is put clean water over this, and this is called glazing, one wash of colour on top of the other. Plenty of water. Look at my brush. I'm not just using it like a pencil, I'm literally pushing that down using the belly of the brush. And I've got just a tiny bit too much water on this, so I'm going to dry and suck a little bit back. You don't want it puddling, it's just got to be glistening. You can wait, of course, for it to sink in a little bit if you want to, but I'm impatient to get on with this, so we're just going to suck some back. Dry my brush before I pick up my colour, because I don't want to keep putting water back into that paint. And then I'm loading my brush right up so that I've got plenty on it. It's almost dripping with paint. It's no good just dipping your brush into the paint and just filling the tip. You've got to really fill it and then drop wherever you see the dark on the leaf. Drop, 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 drop. Okay, now if I run this paint fast, it's not going to spread so much, so watch if I spread it very fast. But I've got a blob of colour on the end of my brush, so I want to know where I'm going to let it off. If I don't want it here, don't let it off there. Okay, so just want to quickly run that round there a little bit. Bit more colour up here. And again, I'm not painting, I'm just dropping. Drop, drop. Wash my brush, dry it. Absolutely bone dry, and then I'm going to just gently bring that over, but don't lose that light blue undercoat. That is your highlight and your shine, so you want to keep that there. Okay, so that's one side, and I would do exactly the same on the other side. So wet down, using your brush nice and flat. Pick up the colour, roll your brush so that it's loaded quite heavily, and then drop in. And look at the way that's whooshing out. If you run it fast and you don't take the brush off, you're going to get much more control with it. Use your tip of your brush and then just soften it over the way that the vein goes. Don't lose that highlight. Wherever your highlight is, you mustn't lose it. I've put a little bit more colour onto that because it was a bit light at the tip there. Okay, and then leave it and you will do the mid-rib later on. I'll just tidy that. And that's all there is to it. If you just wait for a second, that will dry and it will still keep flowing.